Welcome to the new TMZ Live, where we bring you inside our newsroom as our staff chases down today's stories in real time.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Everybody, from Donald Trump on down, talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement.
The president talking about it when he doesn't like Taylor Swift, but he knows that everyone is so into this engagement that he had to say something.
I think he was just surprised. I think because they broke it in the middle of a cabinet meeting, which is crazy.
Yes.
So anyway, there are a lot of details which we're going to tell you about in a minute about when he proposed, how he proposed, where he proposed, and about prenups, which we're going to talk about. But before we do, you would think that this is all kumbaya, where everybody's saying, oh, how great, congratulations. There's a rub.
No. One, Charlie Kirk, the conservative host, had a different take on Taylor and Travis's engagement. One that, Taylor fans, her fans are not happy about this. Here's what Charlie Kirk hopes the future holds for Taylor and Travis.
Taylor Swift is now engaged to Travis Kelce. But maybe one of the reasons why Taylor Swift has been so just kind of annoyingly liberal over the last couple of years is that she's not yet married and she doesn't have children. It's one of the reasons why so many people on the right have been just skeptical or at least a little bit negative on Taylor Swift is up until this point, that's not a great role model for young women, to wait all the way until you're 35 and just put your career first. This is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative. Engage in reality more and get outside of the abstract clouds. Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge.
That's the headline.
You're
Submit
not in charge.
to your husband. You're not in charge. He's saying that not as a choice, but as an edict that you are not in charge. Submit to your husband. First of all,
this is the kind of talk that, remember, it was such a big deal last season when Travis's teammate, Harrison Butker, made it clear what his feelings were about the relationship between
Here's the
men
thing.
and
By the way,
women.
we're on a live stream right now. I want to ask the people in the live stream, because I want to get a poll on this, and we'll give the results in a few minutes. How many people believe Charlie Kirk is right, that the woman should submit to the husband? I think you're going to be surprised at the result here. But I want to go back to the first thing he said, then we'll get to this thing about this,
rejecting feminism.
Rejecting feminism. Yeah. When he says she's been wearing liberalism on her sleeve and she's been talking, she voted for Biden.
I know, but she not just voted for him, but endorsed him.
Like once.
Oh, well, for Charlie Kirk, clearly he's holding on to that.
But she's not this raging Democrat. She never was.
She also was very vocal with a local election in Tennessee. Remember, that was when, and that was, she was supporting the Democrat.
You know what else Charlie Kirk is saying that's really interesting? How dare, she's 35 years old and she doesn't have a husband yet.
She's just into her career.
So I guess what he's saying is, it doesn't matter if you really love the person, doesn't matter what you think of the person.
Just get married younger.
But what if you don't find that person until 35?
Well, I think Charlie Kirk.
What's Charlie Kirk saying?
Whether or not you agree with him or not, he believes in Judeo-Christian values. He believes in family. He believes in religion.
But why can't you have a family where there's equality between spouses?
I'm not saying he's right. I don't think this is not genuine. This is what Charlie Kirk believes.
Right, I understand that.
He believes in gender. He believes in traditional gender roles. He thinks a man has a role in the household. He thinks the woman.
Then how do you?
I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying.
No, but I'm saying.
He believes.
But then how does he juxtapose her success, her career, against the submission part?
She shouldn't have that. I mean, by his words, she shouldn't have that success.
I think that Charlie Kirk would say that her starting a family and her running the household would be the most important thing in her life.
Right.
Like Harrison Butker. There's no difference in what Harrison Butker and what Charlie Kirk believes. They believe the same exact thing.
I think that's right. Well,
yeah.
I think Charlie Kirk believes that.
Oh, I wholeheartedly.
He probably does believe.
He probably does.
I think he's genuine.
I think you're right.
You could disagree with him, but I think he believes. I really do think he believes.
Do we have a poll running on the live stream?
We do.
And
how many people believe Charlie Kirk is right? The woman should submit to the husband. What do you think?
Okay, I think, here's what I think. I think it's going to be 64% say no.
Whoa. No, it's not going to be that high. It's not going to be that high.
64% no?
Say no, that they should not
submit. It's going to be that high. Over 80% say no on YouTube. And 12% say yes, he's right. I'm seeing some viewers come in with, like, they're basing their answer for yes on the Bible, some of them.
You're right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So Charlie Kirk, by the way, that is a quote. I'm trying to remember the scripture, but submit to your
Charlie,
to your husband is a Bible.
Isn't the notion of a trad wife like a 50s wife?
Yeah, trad stands for traditional. So
right.
You're at home. You're their bread. You're making like cooking and stuff for the kids.
You're the homemaker.
You're the homemaker.
So what he said. So that's really what Charlie Kirk is saying is it's a trad wife.
But that is a quote. That thing about submit to your husband is a quote from the Bible.
Okay, so we got other stuff to talk about. Ed Kelsey dropped some info on the wedding.
Travis's dad did a few interviews where he talked about the details that everybody was trying to figure out yesterday. When did they get engaged? Where did they get engaged? He says that it was in the backyard of Travis's home, and that Travis said to Taylor, let's go out into the backyard and just have some wine before we have dinner, and that's when he did it. Now, as everything that happened
2 weeks
before
ago.
he got there, he said 2 weeks ago, but everything that happened before, this part was really interesting. One of the interviews he did was with an Australian station, and this is...
Boy, she must be pissed.
Although, you got to say, he kept his mouth shut for 2 weeks, right?
But then he blew the lid.
But he only blew the lid after they announced it. So it's not like he was loose-lipped here.
Or maybe they were expecting, maybe this was all designed.
Maybe they did expect him to. But this is what he said about his conversations with Travis before the proposal.
How did you find out about it all?
Well, it was a couple weeks ago that Travis got it done after a few weeks of prodding from myself and from Scott Swift. He was going to do it, but wanted to find the perfect, the perfect way to ask her and to make it special. And we kept trying to tell him, when you do it, that's what makes it special. So don't fret on where, or just get it done.
So I got to tell you this. So I made some phone calls today, and I know something about this just because I've been around for about 150 years. So they're going to have a prenup. I mean, although...
Okay, you could have been around for 5 years and you would know that.
They're going to have a prenup. The question is, where are they going to have the prenup? Because she has a place in Tennessee. She has a place in Rhode Island. They have a place, I believe, in Missouri, and she has a house in L.A.
Well, he has a place in Missouri.
I think it's theirs. I think they bought... I don't know whether they bought that other house together or not.
No, he bought it before. It's his, yeah.
They have connections in 4 states at least. So the question is, where do they do the prenup? And it matters on a level. And it would make sense not to do it in California. And not that they don't have the money for this, but California, they kind of ignore prenups when it comes to kids. That if you have kids, judges will not enforce the prenup if it limits the amount the custodial spouse has. And by the way, we've seen that. We've seen that with Kevin Costner.
Yes. So what state would be best?
Tennessee
of their options.
And Jackson, we'll get to in a second. Tennessee is better, but here's the thing. Even if they draft the prenup in Tennessee, if they end up moving, say, to Los Angeles, where she has a house,
seems likely after he's done playing.
Right.
Yep.
Then and they have a residency here. They have residence here. Then a California court and the California law would take over anyway. So
regardless of a prenup
in a different state. So in a way, it doesn't matter if they move, but at least out of the gate, I don't think they do it.
So if they move, do you have to do a new prenup where you move?
No,
Would that be the smart thing to do?
They can enforce the prenup, but it will be based on California law if it's a California court. What do they got?
There are a couple questions, right? Wouldn't you want the prenup to be where the property value is the highest? And the second one is, if they don't sign a prenup and then they get divorced, does Travis then own half of her music catalog?
No, because what you take into the marriage is your separate property.
Right.
So all of her money is her money going in.
Assets, right.
All of the music catalog is hers. What he has is his. If they commingle it, where you can't figure out what's what, then it all becomes joint. Right. But if what they bring in is their separate property.
So the music catalog is hers through and through.
Right.
No matter what, even if they sign up.
Right. And his Super Bowl ring is his.
Although, were they to get married before
the next Super Bowl?
Then
joint.
Jackson Clemens, New York City. We skipped over the Charlie Kirk thing way too quickly, though, guys. Like, I understand the prenup and all that, but like, this man is telling her to submit to him when she's the billionaire in this relationship. I don't understand why. Like, no millionaire should be telling a billionaire how to live their life, and no one should ever be listening.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. I want to argue with you on this. There are a lot of billionaires who have to make decisions all day long.
Yeah.
Decision, hard decisions. It's annoying. By the time you get home, you're so exhausted. You want the other person to start making decisions because you're so exhausted. I'm actually really serious.
Out of this conversation?
No, I'm really serious about
this. This is getting real personal over here, so go ahead.
Right. But my thing is, okay, like, sure, you want somebody else to make a decision, but do you want Travis Kelce being that one? You want Travis Kelce being that person making decisions?
Dude, you could have a beer every night.
That is an excellent point. Right.
Coming up.
Brooke Hogan took a very important step in her investigation into what is going on with her father. She went to the funeral home. Turns out Hulk has not been cremated yet.
He looked ready to go on a pay-per-view. I mean, he looked strong. He looked big. He had that big white mustache. His hair was done. I mean, he looked great.
Be right back.
Well, Brooke Hogan took a very important step in her investigation into what is going on with her father, what happened in his death. You know that she was concerned that he was going to be cremated before there could be a proper autopsy done. Well, she took a very important step. She actually went to...
Well, she didn't necessarily believe that his body was still intact. She thought maybe
he'd been cremated. Well, she went to the funeral home. Turns out Hulk has not been cremated yet, and that's probably very relieving to Brooke, but she still has a lot of questions, as we have had for several days now, as to what the police and the medical examiner are doing with this death investigation, as they put it.
Before we bring Brooke in, which we're going to do, you should know that as of now, the medical examiner has not conducted an autopsy on Hulk's body. And that's because the police didn't in any way suggest that they should. Yet the police, they've opened a death investigation. So if there's a death investigation, it means there are questions. And if there are questions,
how are they going to answer them
without an autopsy? So that's the circular problem that is going on right now.
Right. And Brooke is right in the middle of that, trying to get some answers herself. And she is joining us now. Brooke Hogan, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're good.
We're good. So Brooke, why don't you kind of set the scene here on why specifically you went and what that did for you, both emotionally and in terms of how to process all the information you're trying to get into?
Well, as my father's daughter, whether I'm in the will or not, or on good terms or not, I told him time and time again, I said, I'm your ride or die. I will be there till the very end. And I think everybody, fans, press, journalists, I think, once we all saw the quick cremation without an autopsy come out, I think everybody panicked. And I think it was something that, was cause for alarm, at least for me. I knew my dad's health history like a roadmap. The leukemia thing struck me as crazy. Turns out he had a type that instead of seeing a high white blood cell count, it actually attacks your white blood cells. So not only would you see low white blood cells, but you'd also, if somebody was really looking close, you'd be able to see that something was still amiss. It was one of those things where I was just like, you know what? If I don't see it with my own eyes, I will never know. And I had to be boots on the ground. It is not an easy trek from this coast to that coast. We brought the babies. My husband came with me. And quite frankly, I was terrified of seeing my dad's body because 5 weeks postmortem is probably not great. But to my happy surprise, I guess they had embalmed him for the first funeral and did the open casket, and he still stayed perfect. And, they said, now he will look a little bit sunken and this and that. And I just want to let all of his fans know, and anybody that was concerned about him, he looked ready to go on a pay-per-view. I mean, he looked strong. He looked big. He had that big white mustache. His hair was done. His bandana was on. I mean, he looked great. And that made me happy to see. Now, I did go to also confirm that an autopsy had been done. So,
by who? An autopsy by who?
I don't know who did it. I know Sky had her own private.
And that's the autopsy you're talking about, the one that Sky, his widow, commissioned, right?
Right. Kind of the more grotesque part that I definitely did not like seeing was when they pulled back his shirt and once, the makeup's from here up. But I got to see that an autopsy was indeed performed, and that is what I came there to do. And then I also came to meet with the chief of police. They extended an invite to me because they wanted to show me body cam footage, the 911 call, because a lot of those things put the pieces together. And although it's not readily available for the press, I think to kind of put my mind at ease, everybody else's mind at ease, although I'm not going to relay the information that I saw, I will say my heart is still now, and I don't think there's any foul play involved. I think the police are doing a great job. I'm very grateful that Sky allowed me to go see his body. I actually just got off the phone with her, and she said I had a mother's instinct that you might want to see your dad. So that's why I was dragging my feet on the cremation. And I said, well, your instincts were right. I did want to see him, and I was glad to see that he looked literally, I mean, I've seen him worse in the hospital. I'll just put it this way. He looked great. And I held his hand and I said a prayer over him. And I was just like, Dad, what a ride. You've made so many people so happy, and you've made such a great impact on this world. And I hope that that's what people remember him for.
Brooke, I know that you mentioned that you saw the body cam, you heard the 911 call, and I know you said you don't want to relay the information there because there is an ongoing investigation. But one of the things we had heard is that on the body cam, you do see this occupational therapist there telling the police about the phrenic nerve being severed. And to us, that seemed like that would prompt the police to say, all right, we should do an autopsy to check on that to see if that is somehow related to his death. Did you get any good answer from the police why that hasn't happened?
There's so much red tape. I think from what I understand, when it becomes a medical malpractice situation, it's still considered a natural death, right? Like if you die from a complication from surgery, it's not like somebody went and stabbed you, it would fall into their medical malpractice case. And obviously, Sky could have her own autopsy and say, hey, this indeed happened, and I'm going to sue the doctor. But that's not really the police's jurisdiction. They handle more like suicide, murder, like that's when they really start looking into things like that.
I am not asking this in any way to be ghoulish, but, when somebody dies and you figure out what are you going to bury them in, or, in this case, awaiting cremation. A lot of times you dress them in something that, I don't know, that defines them. Yeah. And, I'm curious what your dad was wearing.
He looked just like him. He had a beautiful black suit on, and he had a black bandana, and he had the, Fu Manchu, the hair, down to his shoulders. He looked like a badass. He looked like Hulk Hogan.
And then finally, we have sources that are telling us that this 911 call was pretty jolting. And it almost kind of speaks to the suddenness of the whole thing. Can you comment on that? Because I know you heard it.
Yeah, I would definitely caution, when and if it becomes public record. I almost wish that there was a way that that somehow, with all of our forces put together, we could not make it public. Hearing Sky call 911 and hearing her voice was, how can I put this? Probably 1,000 times worse for me than seeing my dad dead. Honestly, it was that, I think, is the most traumatizing thing I witnessed yesterday, and heard, because you hear the pure love and panic and just strife, and just it was very hard to digest and to listen to. I mean, I was putting on my best game face in the police officer's office to not absolutely sob hearing it.
Well, look, I know this is hard, and we so appreciate you coming on. Again, we've tried to help with this just to get answers, but it sounds like you got a lot of them the other day.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys too. I mean, everybody says like, oh, the press is so bad. There are a couple good journalists left, and you guys are definitely one of them. And I appreciate, all of your help. Anybody that did any digging or tried to find answers, we really appreciate that. And I'll just say, I personally, and people know me to like shoot you straight, I don't think there's any foul play. I think everybody's doing the right thing, and I think it's probably time to put my dad to rest and call it a day.
All right.
Okay, Brooke.
Well, we
so
appreciate you
it.
being with us.
And we send you our best
to
too.
your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Brooke.
Coming up.
Bill Belichick and his girlfriend Jordon Hudson, they've decided to lean into a particular term, gold digger. And I think this is brilliant.
I love this. Are they selling gold?
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too.
Did you just say look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Well, Bill Belichick and his girlfriend Jordon Hudson they've heard all of the chatter. Yes, everyone thinks that she's far too young for him.
He's far too old for her.
And she's just in this for one thing. Well, they don't really care. In fact, they're trying to make a little buck off of this now because they've decided to lean into a particular term. Do you know what that term might be?
Non-trad wife. Just guessing.
I don't know if it's not that. No. Gold digger.
Oh!
And I think this is brilliant.
I love this. Are they selling gold?
Perhaps.
That would be a great idea.
Perhaps they're going to.
That would be a great idea.
They have together filed for a trademark on the word gold, on the term gold digger.
Well, I don't think they can get a trademark for that word.
Well, but they want it for certain things, and
I don't know.
Which makes it pretty clear that they are.
They're going to sell, those gold commercials on TV? They're going to sell
I don't
gold.
think they're selling gold bars or.
Why wouldn't they sell gold bars?
What is it? What does the trademark application say?
From what I'm told, the plan is for Jordon to sell a jewelry line. So you're not exactly wrong.
I'm kind of right.
It is kind of gold.
But they're not selling gold bars.
Okay, it's gold adjacent.
Also, from what I'm told, it obviously will make some money, obviously, but the goal is more of a middle finger to the haters of Jordon and Belichick.
I love this.
So it's another
I
homage.
love
And the
this.
fact that they're doing it together also points to something, because we have wondered whether or not they are going to actually tie the knot.
That they're
commingling.
They're commingling.
Yes.
How old is he?
73. She's 24.
I used to always think the shelf life on that is limited, but the older I get, the less I want to believe it.
Oh, gosh.
They could be together.
Hi, Carrot's from New York. So I think she's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. I mean, 24, dating a 70, I think you said 73-year-old. He's literally old enough to be her grandfather, or maybe even older than that. And I think what she's doing right now is literally genius. She's running plays, no pun intended, that are going to set her up for her entire life. So I think she's doing exactly what she's
Okay, so I have a question for you. You know the choker you're wearing right now?
Yes.
I think it's great. Do you like it?
Yes.
If she was selling it to you under the label Gold Digger, would you buy it?
100%.
See?
It is a brilliant move.
Case closed.
It's great.
Case closed.
It's great.
Coming up.
Cardi B on the stand, testifying during this civil suit that she's dealing with here in LA.
I did call her the B word. I did call her a
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Cardi B on the stand. That's pretty much all you got to say.
Yeah.
And who's turning away? She was testifying during this civil suit that she's dealing with here in LA. She was sued by a security guard at a medical building where Cardi was going in for an appointment. And Cardi's side of the story is that the security guard was recording her, and so she had words for her.
Right.
The security guard...
Well, more than words, allegedly.
Well, the security guard says that it was more than words and that it got physical and that...
She got slashed.
Slashed is the way the guard describes
According
it.
to the guard.
Well, the security guard has already testified. Now Cardi takes the stand, and this is her take on what happened.
And I'm like, ain't you supposed to be security? Like, you grouped out, you recording me. You're recording me, now you following me. Like, back up. And she's like, I can do what I want. I did call her the B word. I did call her a bitch. Like, get out of my face. I did say, get the out of my face. You're in my face. You're screaming in my face. We're like literally screaming at each other. That's when the receptionist came out. She started wilding out. Like, this hit me, this hit me. And I'm like, I did not hit her. I'm looking at her like, girl, I can't even hit you if I want to. You're bigger than me and you're pregnant. And she just started wilding out.
Here's the thing. Who is the jury going to believe? We always talk about this when the celebrity always has an advantage.
Depending on who the celebrity is.
Right.
There are certain celebrities that are hotheads, that are known as hotheads, and
but even when they take the stand,
right,
who is the jury going to believe, right? Because this case is pretty much going to come down to, do they believe the security guard's testimony or Cardi's testimony?
But her testimony was entertaining, so...
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't always win the day.
But if you get on the stand and you're charming and you are the person that...
No, that's true.
Cardi was very much herself, very genuine there, even if you may disagree with some of the language.
So her argument is what? That if indeed she slashed the security guard, what's the defense to that?
Well, if she did.
If she did.
Is there any evidence that she did other than the security guard saying it?
Well, but that's the thing. She's saying, I didn't, and the security guard is saying, I did, you did.
Right.
And...
who's the jury going to believe?
And it's true that there are, cases like Gwyneth Paltrow where they believe the celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Tell me one where the celebrity took the stand and they didn't believe the celebrity.
Good point.
Teeing up your Dolly Parton story.
Well, but Dolly Parton won.
Exactly.
No, I know.
Because Dolly Parton testified, and you said they were charmed by her the second she walked in.
Dolly Parton won before she testified. When she walked past the jury box, that's when she won.
Well, and
I was there.
Same thing might happen with Cardi.
That's what happened.
Demetria Davis out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm sorry. Let me pretend not to be biased in this situation here, but I'm certainly not a fan of disrespect and more so not a fan of being a groupie. But it seems like to me, this young lady wanted to do creepy videos, which is harassment and stalking to a celebrity figure. And normally celebrities are targets, so they're looking for a cash out, a payout, or either a way out. And in this situation, I think that seeking money and attention was just not a good thing.
You may be right, but
by the way, there's one juror who's
I get it. But let me ask you something. The real issue is, did she slash her or not? That's really the issue. So what if jurors saw Cardi throw that microphone in Las Vegas? And they say, well, she can do it if she gets hot.
But now you're bringing in prior bad acts.
I understand that. But if it's in their head, if they followed the celebrity and they see it, sometimes that has an impact. So I'm saying it doesn't always work one way.
The case of Nip Tuck star Dylan Walsh just keeps unfolding. This, if you hadn't heard, about 10 days ago, in New Jersey, he was riding a car with his family and smashed into 2 utility poles. Finally, you see the car came to a stop there at the second one. airbags opened, and police have been investigating this, and now we found out some more details about what police found in the vehicle. Open cans of booze.
But even if they're open cans,
Which
you still have
doesn't
to
mean-
show he consumed them.
Right.
And they have not
weird
tied
about the
tied
accident,
those
like
two
the way
together.
it
No,
happened.
so to bring you up to speed. So we got the photos of him crashing into this pole, and the crash is insane. I mean, it looks like people got severely hurt. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. So yesterday, we got the police report, and the cops say they came up, they see this wreck. His wife was in the car along with his kids. His wife was screaming when the cops came. So they speak to him, and he's behind the wheel. They say his face is red. They're talking to him. He's confused. And they ask him if he had been drinking. He said, yeah, I had some drinks before. And then they also go into his car, do some searching. They see open cans of White Claws. So, I mean, look, put two and two together. Seems like he was drunk.
He said he was drinking.
Well, so we ended up doing a blood content test, blood test.
Alcohol.
And he went to the hospital. So with all that in mind, you'd think, okay, he's probably drinking. I just spoke to his rep, and he says he was not drinking. He had suffered a stroke while driving. And so what happened was he was driving, suffers a stroke, swerves into oncoming traffic. And
his wife and kids are in the car?
His wife and kids are in the car. They hit a utility pole, crash into another one too.
Right.
And you would think maybe if you were drunk and you hit a utility pole at first, you would maybe stop. So I actually...
Depends on how drunk
you are. Well, the stroke makes sense. And then they say...
Well, has he been medically evaluated for that?
Yeah.
And?
They said he went to the hospital after, and they said that he had a stroke.
But do the police have that information? Because
no.
There's no mention of that in the report, right?
It doesn't.
But both could be true.
They didn't know.
If he had White Claw, and if they were open containers, and he said yes.
Yeah, what's the rep's response about
wife
the open containers?
And the other adult in the car, according to the rep, were drinking the White Claws.
Oh, there was another adult in the car.
Yeah.
But he said yes.
Well, he said he had been drinking
drinking before.
Here's the thing about DUI. That DUI, there are two elements to DUI. You can charge somebody for drunk driving if they have a blood alcohol level above 0.08 or over, or if drinking impairs your driving. That could be half a glass of wine.
Right, could be under 0.08.
It could be a 0.01.
Right.
So the rep told me that he didn't go over 0.08 when he got tested.
But so now I
understand
basically
your
the
point.
police need to know this. They need some evidence of this medical condition that he did have a stroke, and then I think he's probably in the clear.
No.
Then it's an accident.
No,
right?
no, because yes, it could be the stroke, but if he said yes, it depends on what. I'm not arguing it. I'm not arguing this one way or the other. I'm just saying that the authorities could look at this and say he did have a stroke, but he also acknowledged he was drinking. So they could charge him with drunk driving under the impaired provision.
Impaired, right.
Or not. I mean, that's going to be discretionary on their part.
Right.
Coming up.
I have been trying to figure out why the Swifties were so emotional in their reaction to the news of the engagement. And I think part of it has to do that this relationship stands out from her others in some ways that I didn't really understand. We're gonna get into this relationship. Why this relationship? Why now?
Why is this night, or let's make it boyfriend, different from all the rest?
Be right back.
So for the last 24 hours, I have been trying to figure out why the Swifties were so emotional.
Like in our office.
Yes, in our office, and I think our office is representative of Swifties around the world and their reaction to the news of the engagement. And I think part of it has to do that this relationship stands out from her others in some ways that I didn't really understand.
Oh, I love this. I got a great first question, but go.
All right, well, we're gonna get into this relationship. Why this relationship? Why now? Why have Travis and Taylor worked out better than Taylor and all the others?
I got to use it.
Yes.
So the question, Manishtana Halila Hazet, which means why is this night, or let's make it boyfriend, different from all the rest?
Well, joining us now to address that is a relationship expert. Haleh Gianni is the founder of ALO, a relationship app, and she is joining us now. Haleh, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I know it's exciting to be talking about Taylor and Travis.
Okay, well, let's back it up. And just what I want to get into is, like, if you have a dating app and you look at similarities and things that you're interested in and how you kind of align. He is a football player and, a bro, and she is just very different. So is this an opposites attract thing? Or are there more similarities here than meet the eye?
Well, this is really interesting because when we're looking at compatibility, especially natural compatibility, we do need a combination of similarities and differences. In relationships like this, as public as they are, it's interesting because there's a lot of opinion that's getting passed on and a lot of judgment, but they do actually complement and support each other in a very natural and fluid way. And that's why this is something that's very different than her previous relationships.
So Travis does stand out in a certain way. If you look at her past relationships, Joe Jonas, Taylor Lautner, John Mayer, Jake Gyllenhaal, Harry Styles, Calvin Harris, Tom Hiddleston, Joe Alwyn, they were all either musicians or actors. Yeah. And you can say Travis is also an entertainer, but he's an athlete.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete.
He is an athlete.
So was this really what she needed all along?
What she's been is a hopeless romantic. She has her story through her romances have been incredibly relatable because although she's successful and she's a musician and she's loved worldwide, there is a very relatable, hopeless romantic energy and desire about her. And she wasn't necessarily looking for her Prince Charming. It was really Travis is her knight. She wanted someone who was equally successful or even accomplished in his own light, but someone that could be beside her so they can build together, they can grow together and share their admiration for, sort of individuality and being authentic. And I think they really complement each other. And for that reason, she feels safe with him.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. Who's the alpha?
Well, it's interesting because they do both have an alpha trait in them, but they don't compete with one another. As we see how they celebrate each other's wins.
I get all that. But who's the alpha?
He just wants to know who's deciding what we're having for dinner tonight.
I am just generally there usually is an alpha in a relationship.
Well, okay, so I don't subscribe to this alpha beta thing. I think it's a bit of a misconception, but she definitely has a stubborn sort of vein in her. She can be willful. And he's going to step aside and kind of let her win. But at the end of the day, they both have this desire to push through. But in the relationship, I think she's going to be more of the sort of the romantic one and let him lead the way. But she sure knows how to lead.
Okay, follow up. Athletes want to win. That's their job. So does that bleed into the marriage?
If they're smart, no. And I think this is when we're looking at actual natural compatibility between people, they have a way and awareness, and they know what it takes to actually sort of navigate the trials and tribulations of life. We see that as a relationship advisor, as someone who actually analyzes people's nature. I can see how they show up for each other and how they're willing to step aside and let the other one sort of lead when necessary.
All right. There's one other thing. I just want to make sure I got that. There's a difference between Prince Charming and a knight.
Yes.
And what's the difference there? Asking for a friend.
Oh, sure. So what Travis exudes is sort of that missionary crusader. And she wanted someone where her heart felt safe next to. She wanted someone that would stand beside her and not necessarily, charm her in a way. She's already charmed by him being who he is. And when we see couples celebrate each other's authenticity, I think that really allows them to be what they are innately meant to do and be. A knight wants to protect. Prince Charming wants to kind of, sweep you off your feet. He's got that, but she mostly wanted to feel safe.
I want to ask about the rook and the bishop.
I was going to ask about the frog.
And the pawn.
Yeah.
And
the frog.
And the frog.
Hale, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Hale.
Good insight.
Absolutely. Good to be with you guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Coming up.
The people have spoken, and Uncle Herschel wins. Cracker Barrel folded after the backlash when they changed their logo and tried to just have the words. Well, nobody liked that, so they have said they are.
Well, nobody
going
liked
back.
it. Their stock tanked.
Be right back.
The people have spoken, and Uncle Herschel wins. Cracker Barrel actually folded under the pressure after the backlash when they changed their logo. They took away Uncle Herschel, the old guy, and the barrel, and tried to just have the words, well, nobody liked that, so they have said they are.
Well, nobody
going
liked
back.
it. Their stock tanked.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, the biggest thing.
Ultimately, they got to answer the stock.
Nope. Biggest thing is Trump.
No.
I think the biggest thing is Trump.
No, hold on a second, because are you in a cabinet meeting or something?
No, I'm not saying it.
You know, Mr. President, you've done such a great job with Cracker Barrel. Let's talk about that.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying when Trump leaned in on it.
Trump leaned in late yesterday after it had been going on for several days.
And on the heels of that, they said, oh, we're going to fold.
On the heels of the fact that they were losing money, which I will give the president credit. He said, you're losing money. This is stupid. Go back to your old logo. You've gotten plenty of free advertising.
They did, and he was right that their stock went back up.
This is their explanation. They said, we thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain.
Harvey, you're saying they folded. This isn't folding, though. This is responding to a crisis. Their stock was plummeting. They know that they have old customers who like the look of the store. They don't want to alienate them.
But the look of the store has changed. They haven't changed the look of the store. The look of the store.
Love that later.
No, but they've changed the whole look of the store. They've brightened it. They've repainted it. They've got different pictures up on the wall. So even though they changed the name back and the image back, inside the store is different now.
Yeah, but old people don't like change. They want the old, comfortable Cracker Barrel. They don't want to alienate them in a grab for younger customers.
They die.
They will, but many of us
I mean, it's from like the 1980s.
It's not our neck of the woods, right? There aren't a lot of Cracker Barrels.
Old people die, and then young people come in, and they want to get young people. And
well, you don't want to send them to an early grave. They have a lot more, biscuits and gravy to eat before they pass away.
I'm actually serious. That you got to pivot a business.
This is Jay from Indiana, and I don't care if we're talking about Cracker Barrel, Crate and Barrel, or Barrel Full of Monkeys. This is a weird hill for so many Americans to die on right now. More people seem to be concerned about preserving old Uncle Herschel and his barrel full of crackers.
I just have one thing to add here. The people who are so upset about the Cracker Barrel logo, could they also do a backlash on this guy's wardrobe?
Yeah, his wardrobe.
If you could do something to make this the
coolest shirt ever.
You're a lawyer.
Hey,
you're wearing a wrinkled T-shirt to work.
Okay? This is
a
wrinkled
T-shirt.
If you would have seen him at 6 in the morning, it was completely.
He literally pulled it out of the hamper and came to work. Have some self-respect.
Rumple Stillskin. That's who you are now.
Coming up.
Jennifer Lopez's ears must have been ringing based on her former co-star Luis Guzman.
I will now run down a list of your previous collaborators, and you must quickly give me one word that best describes them.
Be right back.
Jennifer Lopez's ears must have been ringing based on her former co-star Luis Guzman, who was promoting the new season of Wednesday. He plays Gomez, and he was on Hot Ones Versus along with Jenna Ortega, and he was asked about his favorite co-stars, and it was very candid. Here's what he had to say.
I will now run down a list of your previous collaborators, and you must quickly give me one word that best describes them. All right, Adam Sandler.
Amazing.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Bellissima.
Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
Even Jenna Ortega's like, oh.
God.
That's not even like subtle shade.
He just wrote a book.
You don't have to say much to say a lot.
We had a conversation the other day where we literally didn't say anything to each other. Had an entire conversation. We'll see you tomorrow.